Another loss for the St. Louis Blues as they officially head into the Olympic pause.
Hey, this is Brayden Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of the podcast. My name is Haley Taylor Simon. It has been 3 seasons of me doing this podcast, talking to you about our Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On today's show, I want to talk to you about last night's loss to Dallas. It was a close game, actually. But I do have some thoughts in regards to as things that I didn't like, and then obviously some things that I did like. Ivar Stenberg, Otto's brother. He is somebody that we should be talking about. This is a player that I actually have mentioned in previous episodes. But after the McKinnon news, I think it's important that we also focus on some other options as the Blues are most likely going to have a high draft pick in the first round. And finally, why is the state of the Blues not being talked about enough? And this is maybe just my fandom coming out a little bit, but I feel as if everything that's going on with the Blues is something that is unexcusable and unacceptable. And I'm really afraid about the future, for being completely honest, and what's about to come. So I think at the end of the day, we just need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture ahead, and there is an immediate concern. I don't want to talk too much about that, as I am going to address that later in today's episode, but I want to start off by talking to you about last night's loss to Dallas. It was a 5-4 loss. Dallas won. But I do have to say that there was some good things that I noticed about the Blues. First off, it was another game where Bushi scored. Kyrie was able to get on the board, and we also had Snuggerud. That's my guy, Jimmy Snuggerud, his 10th goal of this season, and then Alexei Turchenko. But it definitely was a Jamie Benn type of game for Dallas, which is, again, no surprise on that one. We also need to establish the fact that the Blues didn't get a shot on goal until almost midway through the first frame. That, to me, was an issue, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You should be drawing offensive pressure within the first half of the frame. Like, I don't understand how the Blues just couldn't get it together. But again, I know Dallas is a significantly better team than St. Louis, and I do understand that, and I appreciate that. And last night, again, Jake Ottinger, this is a goalie, and I've said it once and I'll say it again. He's one of the best goalies in the NHL currently. I love watching Ottinger play, and I can say that as somebody that doesn't like Dallas, right? But as somebody that can appreciate a good player, I really think that Jake Ottinger is up there. And last night sure wasn't the best game, as he only saved 14 and allowed 4 goals in. So it wasn't the best game. But Ottinger, man, he is a very good goalie, so I'll give him that. And Jamie Benn, I know that we maybe don't talk enough about other teams when I'm doing things on this podcast. And for right reasons, right? I'm a Blues fan. I'm talking about the Blues, but only with 12 minutes of playing time last night, he was able to get 2 goals and an assist. That is a very good night for the captain, Jamie Benn. But when it comes to St. Louis, I have to say, Jordan Binnington, he had 28 shots on goal. He saved 5. He saved 23 and allowed 5 in, with a save percentage of .821. I hope that this gives him some confidence heading into the Olympics, as he is the starting goalie for Team Canada. But I do have to say, at the same time, coming off of a loss, and the Blues haven't went on the road in forever, like, I think it's like 40 something days. It's been a very long time. So I hope for his sake, he's able to just compose himself a little bit, right? I do get a little bit nervous and apprehensive about what this game leading into the Olympics is going to do for Binnington. But at the same time, I think it's the smart decision on Coach Montgomery to play him and not Hofer, as this is the final game prior to the Olympic pause for the Blues. I also have to say, and you're not going to like this, I wasn't too impressed with Colton Parayko last night. He was -4 on the night. And the reason why I bring up Parayko specifically, he is another player that's going to be on Team Canada in the Olympics. Whenever you have players that are playing for something bigger than just the NHL, in this case, the Olympics, you want to head into that contest with confidence over what you did with your NHL club, right? And I don't know how well that's going to translate for both Jordan Binnington and Colton Parayko. Dvorsky, I have to tell you, he has been so impressive to me. I mean, last night, it wasn't necessarily his best game, but I give him credit. He's had to step up. And just remember that he began his season in Springfield. So, again, that's another player that's going to be heading to the Olympics. But Snuggerud, he's been stepping up. So I give him that. The Blues don't play again until the 26th, and that's going to be versus the Seattle Kraken. So it's going to be a definite pause, as I stated, the Olympics. But I mean, last night, again, it's a very interesting situation for St. Louis, as they did have a chance, in my humble opinion, to maybe go into this pause with a little bit more confidence. However, I don't necessarily think that is the best case because, and I didn't talk about this when I kind of recapped the game, but the reason why it's a little bit frustrating is because Jamie Benn's second goal came with 23 seconds left on the clock. And that's how they won the game. And I know what you're going to say. What's with other teams scoring with seconds left on the clock? Well, luckily, this was 26 seconds and not 1.7 seconds, right? But again, I mean, there was no let me just say this. I think at the end of the day, okay, giving up a goal late in the third like that is unacceptable. You have seconds on the clock, and then you can go to overtime and you can fight for the 2 points. But Dallas, I mean, they're such a dominant team. They're such a smart team. And that's something that's always going to beat out the Blues because the Blues just don't have that. And I think at the end of the day, the Blues have an issue when it comes to giving up last second goals. I mean, how many times last season did we see this? Like over 10. It was at least a dozen. And I think that this is something that we literally need to address. And not only do we need to address it, we need to find the solution to it. I think it's really easy to call out the Blues for things that they're not doing right. Because again, there's a lot of things that we can call them out for. But I personally feel like in this specific case of giving up these like last second, last minute goals, this has cost us so many games and so many points. There's a big difference between leaving the game with 0 versus 1 point. Do I think that if you lose in overtime, you should even get a point? No, I don't. I think that it should just be 2 points no matter what. And the losing team gets no points. I think that's how it should go. But that's not how the rules are. So the Blues have this unique opportunity to leave with a point. Now, I know we're in tank mode. Okay? I understand that. I do. But I can't, for whatever reason, watch a game and not hope to win it. That's very difficult for me. I have a very difficult time doing that. It's easier to go on a podcast and say that, and then actually watching your team. I can't look at the Blues and say, give up that last second goal. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I know that I talk a lot on this podcast about the tank and I want us to tank. I just have a very difficult time being able to actively, quote unquote, root for that. So that maybe is my biggest issue. And if it is, so be it. Okay? Like, oh well. However, when it comes to the Blues, we still want to get a good draft pick. And we still need to look ahead. So, coming up, I'm going to tell you about somebody that we should get a little bit familiar with because his brother has played for us already. He got sent down to the T-Birds during the Olympic break, so that way he has more time to just be on the ice and play the game. But we're going to talk about Ivar Stenberg. That's how you correctly pronounce it. People pronounce it so many ways, but Ivar is how uh, he actually does pronounce it. So that is that. But right after this. If you've ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed sponsored jobs. Hiring Indeed, it's all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If you needed to hire someone for, let's go say, this show, I would go right to Indeed and be very specific about what I need, real experience, not just a resume buzzword. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all of your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results using Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of this show, get a $75 sponsored job credit to help give your job the premium placement it deserves at indeed.com/locked on. Just go to indeed.com/locked on right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. I want to talk to you about something that I love and I know you're going to love too. It is called the Everydayer Club. For only $5 a month, you get access to ad-free episodes of Locked On Blues. No ads, nothing. Ad-free. And on top of that, because I'm not done yet, you are invited to an exclusive Discord which allows you to talk to all sports fans about anything that you want, but in my case, specifically the Blues. And I personally really love the Discord. I have never used Discord before, and then I checked it out, and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. So now I get the hype about Discord. So if you have joined, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure a couple of you already have because I have been seeing your lovely faces. So if you want to join the fun, come on down to the Everydayer Club. The link will be listed down below. Ivar Stenberg is a player that we should all be a little bit more acquainted with. Now, we love Otto Stenberg, and Otto has been doing such a great job. But I have a feeling that maybe some of you don't know a lot about Ivar, and that is somebody that I feel like we need to talk about, especially right now as he is making his name all around the NHL top prospects because he is somebody who, in my opinion, he is somebody that could go top 3. And there is a possibility that he could go number 1. He has been playing such good hockey, okay? And again, I know that this is a kid who really has been going out of his way playing in the SHL. He's breaking records. I mean, he is playing fantastic. And I truly believe because his brother Otto plays here for the Blues, that there might be a possibility that this maybe is attractive to Ivar Stenberg and maybe he would want to come here. I mean, I know that's not how the draft goes, but it would be nice to know that a player that we draft wants to be here. I mean, I do want to talk a little bit about his season this year because he has 29 points in the 31 games with 8 goals, 21 assists. Also, he was in the World Junior Under 20 Championships and he was 7 goals. I mean, 7 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. And again, that's something that's very impressive to me. He's a left winger. Again, somebody that the Blues could really utilize. But again, not the biggest guy, like 5'8", but his skill and how he's fast on the ice. He offers so much. And he's personally somebody that I feel like truly does fit the Blue Note in a sense, right? And I feel like this is somebody that a lot of people are now looking at after what happened with McKenna. And they're maybe saying, hey, is this somebody that could actually go first overall? Now, there is that possibility, but we're not going to know what's going on with Gavin McKenna until literally it's dealt with legally, right? But I still feel like if we do draft, let's go say second or third, he is the player that we should go to. He is committed to Boston University. And for me, that's a great, great hockey college. There's a lot of great hockey players that went to BU. So for me, I am fine with that. Okay. Completely fine with that. And again, when you look at him as a whole, there's obviously things that you're going to want to maybe see. And for me, the first thing that comes to my mind is put on a little bit more weight. He is 181 right now. I would like to see him add a couple pounds, just add some more muscle and just get a little bit stronger. But again, he has a lot of valuable assets to him, especially when it comes to this hockey IQ. I feel like that's like the most overused term that people talk about when evaluating prospects. But watching footage of him play, he really does read the ice well. And this is a player that I feel like wouldn't take as long to develop as some other players. Obviously, any player that potentially will go top 3 in the draft shouldn't take as long developing, rather than the guys that go a little bit later. And I feel like there is a big difference between top 3 versus like top 10. It's hard to be that good and talented, to be honest. So I like him. And I like that his brother, Otto, is already on the team. My only fear is this. It's not about the Blues not selecting him. It's about the stupid ping pong balls. I feel like our future is truly determined by ping pong balls. We have had such a bad season, my friends, such a bad season. And our future of what our organization is going to do is going to be dictated by ping pong balls. And to me, not only is that discouraging, it's frustrating because I want to be in a situation where I am confident about potentially having a top 3 draft pick. And I'm not because of these stupid ping pong balls. If we don't get let me go say this. If we don't get a top 3 draft pick, now I'm saying this still thinking we're going to be tanking, I am going to be so ticked off because some of these guys that are going to be going top 3, top 5 are truly such stars in the making. Players that could seriously change this organization, change this team. And I am so concerned that because of a ping pong ball, our future is going to continue to go downhill. So I like younger Stenberg. I just hope that the ping pong balls don't screw us over. Okay. Well, I'm already in a bad mood, so this is the perfect time to talk to you about I combine some words about why the state of the Blues is not talked about enough. And we need to talk about it. Come on, people, wake up. This is not good. But I'll talk to you about that right after this. Let's be real, managing your finances can feel overwhelming. Between subscriptions you forgot about, bills that keep going up, and trying to figure out where all your money actually goes each month, it's easy to feel like you're losing control. And who has time to track every transaction or hunt down hidden fees? That's where Rocket Money comes in. The personal finance app that helps you control. It finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I was shocked when Rocket Money showed me I was paying for all of these streaming services that I literally don't even use. It has already saved me money. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. rocketmoney.com/locked on. I feel like there is an issue going on with the Blues. I have felt like there's an issue for quite some time now. Like, I keep on having to pause myself because of how frustrated I get. But I guess my main point, my friends, is this. Giving up the last second goals, that is something that we saw last season. It is translated to this season. Like, this has happened numerous times already. Blowing these games with big leads. I mean, this is something that we have seen. Here is my fear, okay? I am afraid that this team, this organization is going to be too afraid to go into actual tank mode. And what I mean by that is not selling. What I mean by that is not doing enough at the deadline and trying to retain so that way they could have some potential slim chance of making it to the playoffs, which is not going to happen. I think that for a lot of us, we have been fed up for quite a while with how this team has been. This is not a good hockey team. This organization, I believe, understands that. They do. They do. But I feel like maybe it's not addressed enough. Maybe what we need is to hear a plan. I mean, there were so many teams, like the Rangers, they sent out letters to their fans, the season ticket holders, basically apologizing for the season that they have had. Like, I need some sense of accountability from the organization as a whole. How can you expect me as a fan to buy in a sense and watch all these games, purchase merchandise? I'm just very confused on how we do our part as the fans, but yet the team isn't doing their part. I know at the end of the day, maybe what I'm asking for is ridiculous. Maybe I sound more angry and annoyed than I am trying to be helpful. And I'm not going to apologize for that because I have been saying this for years now on this show. I've been saying this my whole life, essentially, to friends, family. But this is a team that just needs to completely tank. Completely tank. Be bad. Sell. Let your young guys play. Like, this is a team that needs to hit rock bottom because that's the only way you're going to be able to improve in this league. We've seen it with other teams, San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim. Like, we have seen that in a sense where other teams hit rock bottom, become a joke, but get and then not even like good draft picks. They get great draft picks. They have money to spend, and then they become something maybe not yet, but some of them have become some of the better teams in the league, right? I think for us, we need to embrace the tank. How cool would that be if we went into this year's draft with the ping pong balls obviously going in our favor, having a top 3 draft pick? That would be pretty cool. I would also hope we go into this offseason with money to spend. That's the formula, my friends. It's very simple. And that's why when you give out these big contracts with these no trade clauses, it hurts the team more than it helps the team. And that's why I don't understand how. I don't understand how that was something that Doug Armstrong did for so many players. I know there's guys that are deserving of it. I do. But again, when a lot of your team has a no trade clause, it makes it very difficult, very challenging to do anything with it. And that's where some of my frustration comes into play. I get it. I understand. And I'm fully aware that being a good hockey team means having to retain well-rounded, experienced veteran players. I get that. But is it enough? No, that's why you need to get the good young guys. And they have that, but that takes time to develop. That's why if you get like a top 3 pick, then maybe you could have one of those guys earlier than you think, maybe. I'm just saying it helps more than it hurts. But again, the state of the Blues, it hasn't been good. And what are they going to do about it? Time will tell. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow. And like always, let's go Blues.